Hey everybody, it's the last Robo Kai here. I'm joined by Cool Guy, and it's time for more Nioh. Gonna get some side missions out of the way, which means obviously we're gonna be doing a little bit of time travel. We're going to be going back to before back to before we visited the
Fine,
the
we're
castle.
literally the Time Warriors. This is what we do.
Yeah. Simply because the last mission sat by itself, and I was like, well, I don't want to leave it by itself. I don't want to make a 8-minute long video.
Okatsu being unusually deferential with that mission briefing. I don't suppose I could impose upon you to investigate.
Maybe she's. I think she might be coming around on this. I don't know. Maybe she's realized we're not just some.
We're not just a drunk.
We're a guy that she can direct to kill yokai. She gets a lot of weird. Like I said, she gets a lot of weird missions from people, like from listening to the common folk or listening to like lesser people, like which is obviously part of what sort of just comes along as her role and her ninja stuff. Tends to be a bit more low key infiltration, where doesn't get into high places, but does pick up on a lot of things that are going on. And we're doing axe for this one, which is probably a mistake.
Yeah. I played a lot of axe. It's a mistake.
Oh well, can't get in there. This is our first encounter with the graveyard, anyway. This is Is it? No, actually, I think it's our second encounter with the graveyard. Yes, it is the second encounter with the graveyard. Pardon me. The way this one works is pretty much the same as all the previous ones. We basically hook around the wide side, and
Also, no, he's not tripping. By the way, he knows he's using a hammer. Hammers are considered axes in terms of moveset. Don't worry about it.
Actually, I've recorded so many videos now. This might be the first time
I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, I wasn't certain if I should correct you on
I've caught in a time warp of my own making. I've
Yeah.
gotten too far ahead in recording videos that now, like, literally everything is like.
Pretty sure this is the
blurring
first
together.
time I've seen this one during this Let's Play. And I'm the one with perspective on that. Oh, headshot.
Honestly, surprised that a graveyard wasn't a place that we visited earlier than now.
Flush is a design flaw.
Bop you on the noggin, buddy. Bop you on the noggin.
You got me saying headshot. Now I'm thinking of all of the lines from Unreal Tournament. Fucking 20 years ago, man. 20 years ago, but it feels like yesterday.
It's all Unreal here, but it's not a tournament yet. There is a tournament. There is a tournament mission.
There is a tournament mission.
Well, it's not really a tournament mission. It's more like, have you ever played a game where it says defeat 100 enemies?
Yeah, it's more like a gauntlet, but I mean, like there's tournaments like that. They call them it's like Hell in a Cell on
Yeah. It's like a battle. It's a
in
battle
the
royale,
WWE.
only everybody fights you.
Yeah, Royal Rumble. Sorry, not Hell in a Cell. Dumbass.
Yo, fuck you, Dweller. I ain't putting up with that shit.
Or
your shit either.
Increased.
I ain't falling for your traps like literally everybody else appears to have.
I mean, did these people actually die from dwellers? Because that would be embarrassing.
No, they died from the ninja yokai that's up the top there, but the dwellers don't make it easy.
That sounds a lot more reasonable.
Ah, we got some more umbrellas. We didn't talk too much about them. They're actually an interesting kind of enemy in terms of how they try and stay away from you. They like to be mid-range, and they'll jump in, and then they'll jump out, and yeah, already worried. They also actually do have the paralyzing effect as well, so that can catch you by surprise. And because they'll basically spin through the air and eject the spines of the umbrella out. It's kind of weird, but it's easily blocked.
Every time we see one of those umbrellas, I get a low-key urge to go back and just mainline Pocky and Rocky and Legend of the Mystical Ninja for like a day.
Like every so often, I go back to Pocky and Rocky and remember I'm absolutely trash garbage at the game, and it whoops my ass.
The game is hard as shit, and I was like, me and my sister. That was one of the only games me and my sister ever played together, and we were both trash garbage at it. We didn't care, like I was a fucking shrine maiden throwing cards, and she was a little tanuki throwing leaves. That was really all we needed to know.
Yep, good game.
Good game.
I do wish I do wish I'd taken a couple of those skills in there, though, when we were doing that, because some of the skills, you've got to remember, some of the skills in this do overlap. So, like, if it doesn't say when wielding this particular weapon and it has a statistical increase or whatever, that means that you do get that benefit for that particular... for any particular weapon you wield, even if it isn't something that sort of crosses over. So I believe the Odachi has the bonus against humans, and I don't know if that's like Odachi only or not. I'm pretty sure it isn't. And the axe has bonuses against yokai, which I don't believe said it was axe only either. So I should really get in and invest some points in that, because like I've like recorded so many episodes ahead at this point, and I still haven't done it. It would probably make things a little easier.
This friggin' guy over here.
So trying to invest more in like tangible things you can look at, because they are sick, cool, nasty. Although I don't think I have any new abilities since last time we did it, because I was just like, I don't really have anything.
You just hit a 7-foot-tall demon in the face about 4 times with a huge hammer in the space of 2 seconds. I'm pretty happy right now. Like, I'm having a good ass time.
Please, hammer, just hurt him.
It was the reason why I wanted to go with this stuff in the first place, is because I have an irrational love for giant fucking hammers and stuff. And I heard that hammers were considered axes, and I was like, okay, well, that's pretty much where I need to be. Like, even when I was playing like Overlord, you remember that game?
Yeah.
Like I basically took one look at the giant iron maul in that game. It was just like, done. I'm in love. Ignore the fact that it's not just the objectively the worst weapon in the game. It is objectively the worst weapon in the game by a few orders of magnitude. Didn't care.
Fuck it, let's be Sauron.
Yeah, fuck it, let's be Sauron.
I'm having a pretty good swing rate on the Nurikabe.
You almost went neutral there, and it's like something pinged in the back of your head, and you listened to your instinct. Yep.
That was basically what I was like, well, I'll just do this, and I was like, no, this time I know what it is.
I mean, I can fucking see the thoughts going through your head at this point. It was like James McCloud. It was like James McCloud saying, "Trust your instincts." You were just like, "Okay, Dad."
It's like one of those things where all the equations are flying through the air, except they're all really wrong. and then one just says, "Fuck it." See, that's the paralyzing attack.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that.
Happens to be literally everywhere in everywhere. And yeah, they drop one of those as well. They call it a rib, but it's more like it's part of the frame of the umbrella. God. Like, if it wasn't for the fact they would be being horribly killed, I would be like, man, I just love the sounds that these people make. Like this, like almost just the way the Japanese language talks in terror is really lyrical to me. That's really fucked up to say, but that's the truth. I'm sorry, Japanese.
Hey man, like as long as if you realize that it's fucked up to say, you can usually get away with saying it.
It's just like, boy, the way Japanese sound when they're terrified for their lives is so pleasant to my ears. Is not meant as like I enjoy hearing it happen. It's just there was just the way that guy spoke.
Statement.
Also, Tuskete tickles my ears. I don't know why.
Tuskete sounds a lot funnier to me ever since My Hero Academia got big. But whatever.
We're about to get absolutely turbo fucked, by the way.
Yeah, I remember this.
This particular fight is bad. It's a bolt, and that's alright. She's accompanied by two water Onibis, but then 2 fire Onibis spawn behind you. And this is where I make my mistake in ignoring them, and then suddenly the Oni being begins. And I'm slowed, and I'm fucked, because they're all doing... stop. Please, I beg of you. Please.
Yeah, that's probably the first time when during casual play you will have an experience with confusion on yourself. It hurts. It's not good. It hurts.
We're gonna have to clear everything out here again, which is actually the thing that, like, that's the only problem I have with this particular part, is you got to go through it and you got to get rid of everyone again, because no fucking way are you gonna put up with an umbrella and 3 fire Oni bees when then it spawns another 2 Oni bees. And
particularly when
another 2 red Oni bees and 2 blue Oni bees. It's just like,
yeah, exactly.
that's like way too many Oni bee. I'm not a fan of the sheer amount of parasol going on.
Too many dudes on the dance floor, and by dudes I mean Oni bees.
You can sort of see a lot of the attacks are, it will lunge in close, but
so
then very quickly bounce out again.
Have I mentioned recently how incredibly goddamn jealous I am of you being able to just iframe through all of these attacks? You do it on like a dozen times every video, and it's insane to me.
I've actually got confusion on it now, but I'm not going to get the chance to use it because I let the Oni bees have their way, and I am just... No, I can't get out.
Buddy.
I can't get out. I'm just like, I want to take advantage of this. I'm an idiot. And it costs me so hard. I'm a dumbass. Gotta go
right now. You're like a dude with a weak bladder.
That was 100% just me. Like going, oh, I've got confusion on the enemy, I have to attack them. That was a bad idea.
Wow, did you see how much shade that loading screen threw, by the way?
Yes.
That was an oak tree's amount of shade. Holy mother.
At this point, I'm kind of like,
yeah. Yeah.
But I'm angry at myself because I know, like, the way I've tried to fight it here, is almost never how I try and fight it. But at the same time, the way I'm about to fight it now, I still usually die a few times. Like, I have never done this stage without dying. Like, let's just be honest. See this shit? You see this shit?
Oh my god!
Fuck Oni Bee so hard. At this point, I'm frothing at the mouth at Oni Bee. They're like the worst enemy in the game.
Like it's so easy to disregard them, and like you talk to somebody who hasn't played this game that much, and you're just like, fuck Oni Bee, and they're just like, what are you talking about? They're no big deal. And then they go play the game for like 10 hours, and they come back and it's just like, yeah, fuck Oni Bee.
Ugh. And then of course that happened.
Yep,
all right, let's get some goddamn bat up in here.
Wind bat.
Do some wind damage. Get over here, you bum. Okay. Alright. Now, don't think for a second that just because you've managed to defeat the Oni Bee that this is going to be a walk in the park, because this bolt is stronger than the average bolt.
She hits harder and she has like twice as much health.
Yeah. So she's not an easy ride by any means. But you can work out their pattern eventually. You know, like, I'm sort of just trying to, you know, figure out the best way to approach her. Trying to keep a good range so I can go back in, maybe bait one of her dashes in. You can see she's got a lot of attacks, and a lot of them stun. Sorry, not a lot of them stun, a lot of them slow.
This is much harder on you with regard to the axe as well, because you don't have one particular move that allows you to high stance and do a double strike somersault attack. It's an amazing move from the axe's perspective, one of the only truly good moves that they have, and you know, when you dart out of the way of like that attack, you could have instead done a double somersault, done like 3 times as much damage, both in terms of health and in ki. So the fact that this is not your primary weapon is jamming you up a lot.
But we're getting there now.
Got her on the ropes.
I'm just gonna back off a bit because I had no stamina left, and she was about to like recharge. There we go.
Frickin' made unhallowed ground. Burn in hell.
I guess Edward came through here.
Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty much like Ed's handiwork.
He dressed me in extremely inappropriate garb.
Literally just tied me up in the weirdest frickin' sigils.
What I do like about it, though, is if you look at her face, she has no facial features except for a really weird smile. It's very unnerving, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that closely. Does she not even have a
Yeah,
nose?
no one looks at her face.
I mean, I'm more, like, in my defense, I'm more looking at her hands, because those are the things that are using to slap my ass.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Alright, it's Axeman time.
Axeman! Axeman!
You'll all remember Cook, I was pretty excited
Axeman.
about this a little while ago. The idea we get to fight somebody on a bridge. We're dealing with a spirit on a bridge that is fighting people and taking their swords. In Japanese storytelling, there's really only one person that does that, and that is Benkai. He's a Japanese warrior monk from the Heian period, which is substantially far in the past. We're talking about like 794 is about when that period started, apparently. And he served the famous warrior Minamoto no Yoshitsune, and he was
Son of a bitch kills a lot of people.
And he was depicted. He is where the famous story of the man who dies standing comes from, because that is precisely how he died. And here he comes to fuck our day. You can see
crazy son of a whore.
Yeah, the headpiece that he is wearing is a famous piece of his imagery. The monk wrapping. That's actually heavy armor. You can get it if you beat him, which if you're very good, you can beat him. As you can see, we're having fun. Tonfa versus Axe here.
I finally did get this guy, but it took me like half an hour straight of just fighting and dying.
He's different to a lot of the other one-on-one fights in that he is a big ass wall of damage. He can tank through some of your hits, and he hits so hard. And he has full access to all of the different buffs and everything that the axe users can give themselves. Increases the strength at the cost of defense, increases defense at the cost of speed, I think. You know, which don't affect him too much because, quite frankly, he can soak a lot of damage. And
yeah, this dude has a lot of poise. It's not really called poise in this game, but it's effectively poise. So yeah, like you saw Robokai nail him a couple of times, and he still just poised through it, just absolutely smashed him.
Yeah. So Benkai is an incredibly popular figure in Japanese history, for many reasons. And so if you'll ever see a bit of Japanese storytelling involving
Yep.
Yeah, and there he is doing the pose. If you ever see like a bridge and a fight on a bridge one-on-one, it's usually a reference to him. In fact, the character of Gilgamesh, used in Final Fantasy games, particularly in his initial appearance, is a reference to Benkai more than it is to the actual historical figure Gilgamesh. And the one that appears in Final Fantasy XIV is absolutely hilarious. Now,
do not corner him. What are you doing?
Winning.
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? How did you pull? You lucky son of a whore! He has an entire desperation routine where if you corner him on a corner like that, he will block your shit, lash back out, and it usually kills you instantly. How the fuck you managed to get through that and knock him over without him even managing to stumble? I can't even describe how goddamn lucky you are.
It's one of the advantages of the Tonfa.
I swear to unholy Christ.
So, now for the final mission.
I got nailed by that desperation maneuver when we were streaming.
The thing is, by doing that, I don't get the hat. So if I want his hat, I am going to have, for the very least, for glamoring purposes, for refashioning purposes, I will have to go back and do that fight properly. But I'll go back and do it when I'm a bit stronger. I'll do it off camera.
I am just salty as shit about you. That's an entire mechanic that they put in there, and you were just like, nah, dog, doesn't suit me.
No.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah. It is interesting though that the character of Benkai. I always like drawing parallels between like stories from the West and stories from the East. And when you think about it, Benkai is sort of has a little bit in common in terms of his meeting with the main character of the stories he's in of Minamoto no Yasutsune, and you know that particular character and the Western character of Little John from Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say there's
both
go ahead. Sorry.
Both were blocking the path of the main character. Both were essentially saying you can either pay the toll or you can fight me. And in both circumstances, they were humbled by the main character of the story, and then became a stalwart, loyal ally through the rest of the tale.
Yup. Very much what I was about to say. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's like these little things. It's just like you get sort of the values and the ideas just sort of they transcend, I guess. Also, it's time for some fancy parrying. Holy shit! I actually did it first go.
Oh, buddy.
Sadly, I don't actually have the thing that comes afterwards where you can actually do some damage. Okay, all right. Usually, I get punished for being bad.
That's the somersault maneuver I was referring to in the last video. It's powerful in the hands of the enemy. It is world changing in the hands of the player.
Yeah, I really should try and get that for the next Axe video. I actually forget which weapons I've been using after when I went to do the recording for the stuff after this.
You goddamn whiz.
Yeah. Okay.
The Lord protects fools, and buddy, you are on his list.
This particular Revenant sort of highlights the problems with fighting like the Revenants that use twin katanas. They're very blocky. Your chances of parrying them are a bit wonky because of the way that their attacks come out. But yeah, it's because of their incessant blocking. But at the same time, they don't do a huge amount of damage, so they just annoy the shit out of you instead. It's like I'm just glad I was able to get rid of that one through persistence. But I absolutely just do not enjoy fighting Revenants as time goes on, because they just get increasingly blocky. Like, they just keep throwing the blocks up, and their stamina is like a player's stamina, so they don't quite, but only better, so they don't quite erode away as easily.
I was gonna say, it's a little bit like fighting the doppelgangers in Dawn of War 2 Last Stand. So far as, are they like you? Yes. You know, that's not inaccurate. But to say that they're exactly like you is outrageously inaccurate, because they have a couple of very critical statistical advantages that count in some very, very big ways.
They're jerks.
They're jerks.
So the mission we've been sent on here is to go find a piece of a tree. That probably sounds really weird. But apparently there was like a really great tree, and you want to cut a piece off it and smell it because it smells really great, I guess.
Like people already keep yelling at you to go after their swords and shit. Going after a tree is just like basically one step down from that. You're still effectively medieval Japan FedEx.
Well, Danjo is a bit of an odd fella, so I guess that makes sense why he's doing that. You know, like a sword, he's like, sword, not interesting. A piece of wood? Fuck yeah, get me on that shit. Do you know how important a piece of wood is?
Nice!
We're also using the spider guardian spirit. And it's actually interesting because one of the effects that you get from it is a passive paralyzation effect on all your attacks.
I did notice that everybody had that coming up, but nobody was actually getting paralyzed, so I decided not to comment about it.
Yeah, and one of the other interesting things is that we've seen with all the other guardian spirits a very specific sort of behavior when you use their moment talisman, use their abilities. In the case of and they'll typically do an attack and it'll do elemental damage of some kind.
What a douche!
Oh, it's fine. This particular guardian spirit does not do that. When you use this guardian spirit, it does not inflict earth damage. It actually inflicts slow on the enemy, so it will slow them right down with webbing.
Cool.
I got a little turnaround. I didn't need to run all the way around like that. I don't know why I did. I think this level just does things to my brains.
Because you fell down after this one idiot who decided he wanted to try to
Yeah,
step
but you only
to
just need to run up those stairs to get back there, so I don't know. Like, I think my brain thought that there was something
You were focused on
the
the idiot who was stepping to you. That man decided to challenge your authority, and you had to assert your authority.
I'll buy it. There's gonna be one variation of this level, and it's probably the last one we face. It's gonna have 2 fucking umbrellas in that section, and it's gonna be a pain in my ass. 6,700 damage headshot. God, I love this game.
Now that's flat out GG no re. Okay, man, whatever you think you're doing with that.
If I can't have this shelf, no one can.
It's just continuing the game giving you shit. By the way,
this particular level, this particular mission actually has a bit of a quirk to it as well. But here's how you destroy a Nurikabe, without fighting it. You don't get anything, so I don't recommend it. But that's it. You've just removed the talisman on their back, and they're gone. Man, those trees. Every time I've been this level, those particular set of trees have been jerks.
They get in your friggin' way.
I'm trying to be fancy and do the parry, and I'm just not doing it. Come on, do it. Do it.
Just
do it.
Just insert the parry rant right here, because I feel like I've done it enough.
It's funny. The only good parry is the Odachi parry, because it's not a timing parry. It's a basically just blitz through an enemy attack. It's like a block attack, but it's still kind of like a parry.
Yeah, that's how a lot of Raphael's guard impacts worked in Soul Calibur 2, which was one of the reasons why I liked him. He had a lot of like preparation maneuvers that counted as guard impacts, but were really just were also transmitting his fencing moves that were coming up. So if somebody started attacking, you could use a preparation move to knock them off balance right before you did something awful to their entire body.
Yeah. So here's something I forgot. I thought the actual item we need to get, because like the other levels where we have to search for an item, that splinter could have been in any of those other 2 chests. But it's in the one in this room here. I thought that this chest was just an extra one, so I don't look and I just pick up everything and it ends the level. You gotta admit though, that looks cool.
Like, the fact that he actually struck about 3 feet behind you and you were still just like, nah, here you go.
Yeah. So it's like, I end the level abruptly here, and so we don't go up there and fight anything, which is a bit of a shame.
Fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We know the level layout. It's sort of predicting what's about to go wrong.
No.
Yeah, our little Armagina friend is the one that has the sandalwood splinter. There we go. I picked it up. Stage over, and I'm like, ah, shit. Ah, hell. Oh well. Quest item get.
Hey
And I guess it's time to leave.
All about sandalwood.
God, all this blood.
I feel like that was a thing.
And much
like
to our amusement, Danjo thinks it's shit and doesn't want it, and so we can keep it because Danjo.
Because Danjo.
And you can use it. You can sell it, or you can use it to give yourself Amrita. So that's about it.
An obvious fraud.
I've been the Last Robo Kai.
And I have been an obvious fraud.
See you in Honoji.